Knowing this near universal pattern helps to assess new brands and existing ones.
What don't marketers know?
Quite a lot. Marketers, I actually live in an anything-goes world where the latest fashion or fad drives an awful lot of practice.
Segmentation is the recognition you can't serve everyone with equal satisfaction.
This is the Zach Ansbury Show.
Welcome. On today's podcast clip, we have Professor Jackie Eastman of Florida Gulf Coast University, United States. So you seemed like there's this natural inclination towards leadership roles for you, I'm finding. They made you MBA director. You then were honors coordinator there. Have you always sort of found that sense of leadership within yourself, or is that how you would describe yourself? I'm not sure.
No.
I seem to see leadership from you.
It's like, because people would ask me, they're like, well, how come you never became a department chair? And I did, look into that. And then I realized I have the head to be a department chair. I don't have the stomach.
Okay.
And so I think sort of organized. And so I think that sort of is a strength I can bring into a leadership role, is that I'm organized and, with the processes, I'm very task focused, which depending on your perspective is either a really good thing or a not so good thing. And I've been fortunate, for the majority of my career, I've had really good bosses. And so when I've had not quite at the same level, it's been really noticeable. And I think that was one of the things that attracted me here, is that, I'm a phenomenal department head. Our dean, is phenomenal. And so that, so you had that. And then you had the fact that it's Southwest Florida, and you have the fact that the students were really more outgoing, that it was like, I've got to come here. And the position I applied for, it was funded by agriculture. And so we have an agribusiness area here, and I do some work with agribusiness. And when the position came open, my father, who lived to 95, had died. And so I thought this would be doing this because he did, sort of organic chemistry in the ag area. And I thought this could be sort of a way to honor his legacy. So I sort of felt like it was a full circle moment, that I was meant to be here. And so, I have my dad's PhD diploma up there in my office. And so people are like, who's John Kilsheimer? And it's like, oh, that's my dad. He got a PhD in organic chemistry, and
lovely.
in sort of ag fields. And so this is sort of my way to honor him.
Yeah. Oh, that's incredible. What did you mean when you said you don't quite have the stomach to be a department head, or you don't like the HR, the admin, or like a...
Well, if there's some people that can, like when there's conflict, I don't sleep. So gotcha. How at the end of the semester, you have like those 5% of students that you get all the emails from.
Yep.
And then, but you have to be consistent with the syllabus. So you can't change the syllabus. And so I always sort of make a big point that at the very first day of the semester, I go, 95% of you are going to follow this syllabus. Do your best. I go, there's 5 to 10% of you that right now look at this syllabus and think, this doesn't apply to me. And I'm going to start getting emails the closer we get to the end of the semester. I go, I'm going to just tell you up front, for the 95% that have from the beginning with the program, trying their best, I'm not deviating the syllabus. I go, will I lose sleep? Will I feel sick to my stomach when I get these emails and have to say, I'm sorry, but to be fair to the rest of the class, I can't deviate. I go, you will keep me up at night, but I am not changing. I just will get less sleep that night. And so I think as department chair, you get those type of situations every single day.
Yeah.
So for me, I get them, at the end of the semester for a couple of days. If I was a department chair and given all the things they're juggling, I would never sleep. I would be up every night, like I couldn't fall back asleep. So that's what I mean by I don't have the stomach for it.
Gotcha. I mean, it's good that you're aware of that. Like, you know what you're very good at, and then you know the stuff that you'd rather avoid. So you are the Vice President of Research at the American Marketing Association, which is widely known as AMA. So you've done that in the Higher Education Special Interest Group. So I've never been to the United States to begin with, but the AMA conference is widely known. How big is it? Sort of, who does it kind of attract? Tell me more about it, because I would love to attend when I can get some funding for it.
Well, AMA is sort of our biggest conference.
Okay.
And they'll have like a winter AMA that's usually in February, and they have summer AMA, and then usually the summer AMA is when the doctoral students are sort of looking for jobs.
Oh, that's right.
And so
Yeah.
that I like AMA because if you go to AMA, you're always going to see somebody you know, because it's a huge conference. And so that Atife Yazdan Paris, who's one of our AE, is on our editorial team. She invited me to be part of the higher ed SIG. And so that's how I got involved with the AMA higher ed SIG. And, what they're trying to do is provide support for people working in higher ed. And, at AMA, they have all these special interest groups that when you join AMA, so you can be, and you can join more than one. So you can be part of the consumer behavior special interest group. You can be part of the sustainability, the sales, the retail. We also have like a doc SIG, so for doctoral students. And how I sort of see the role of the higher ed is, okay, these people graduate, they get their first job. How can we provide support? So how can we provide support, sort of that bridge from the doctoral program to being, set them up in their careers.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, so it's really designed for early career researchers who are transitioning into their own career.
And I think, there's things for everybody, but like when I look at, we do research grants and the top researchers in AMA journal that, the DocSig has a list, like here's the top 50 researchers that have published in AMA journals. So journal marketing research, and so forth. And so I'll email them and say, will you be judges for these proposals? These are doctoral students. And and they are so willing, here they are, the pinnacle, the peak, the top of the top. And they're like, sure, anything we can do to help. Yeah. And so then we do the research grants for doctoral students to sort of help them get some funds to help them with, getting data and so forth. We pay for some of them to go to an AMA conference. And in the summer, there's a grants opportunity there. And then I usually do different AMA webinars. Steve D'Alessandro has done them with me on, reviewing or what editors are looking for in a paper, or we'll bring people with different areas of expertise. Emmanuel Magoji, he's won our top reviewer award several years.
Yeah.
That he did a reviewing webinar based on the experience from the reviewer's perspective. We did it from the editor's perspective. He did it from the reviewer's perspective. And so we do different things like that. And, anybody can go. For the grants, you need to be a member of the higher ed. Because, since there's, money involved. But again, when you join AMA, there's no extra charge to say, I want to be part of the higher ed SIG. That's included in your, you can include that in your AMA membership for free.
And how do people join AMA? Is it included in your conference attendance?
You have to join AMA first to get the AMA rate for the conference. I know some conferences sort of bundle it up, where it's like if you pay the non-member rate, it's the same price as the member rate plus the membership. AMA, it sort of splits it up, and because you can do like when I join AMA, so I don't have to worry about it every year. I'll just do like the 5-year membership. So that way I don't have to worry about when I'm an AMA member, when I'm not. And then you'll get different access to materials and things being a member beyond the conferences.
So like an AMA...
I'll get things that I can share with my department and so forth. Another conference I really like too is the Academy of Marketing Sciences.
Yeah.
That it's a smaller conference than AMA, but they get people, a very broad group of people, and the research tends to be really good. And since people aren't there looking for jobs, that it's more of a research focus, and you tend to see the same people go each year. And so there's people that I see them once a year at AMS. And so I look forward to going to AMS so I can see them.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. That's one of the benefits of conferences is, being exposed to new ideas and seeing where the field is moving and everything like that. But the really nice social aspect of it is that seeing people you haven't seen for a year, how is their life going? Like you get to know them quite well if you keep going to the same conference year in, year out. And like you said, with AMA, it's nice to go because so many people go that you will know someone, and that familiarity of a friendly face is really nice, right? Yeah. So with AMA, it's a multi-day event?
Yes. Now what they've been doing is they'll have like one day will be a virtual event.
Okay.
So like this year, I just did the virtual event. And then like 2 days later, they'll have the face-to-face event. So you can, and the virtual event's obviously cheaper to go to because they're not giving you lunch and so forth. But so you can, start with, I'll just go to a virtual event. You don't have, they work really hard to sort of develop that social where you can chat and do those type of things. And the sessions you get really good feedback at. But so that's a good option too.
Yeah. And then so the special interest group part of it, is it like a 90-minute session or is it a half a day? What
we'll do is that in the summer that they'll run like a session. So they'll do some kind of panel, like maybe, they've done like, I think they're doing one I think they've done one on AI. I tend to go to winter AMA and they tend to do that event, summer AMA. And then winter AMA is when we do, where we have the doctoral students and students 1 year out submit their systematic lit reviews.
Oh, yes.
And then we give feedback on that, and then they can submit that. Going forward, we're going to do it every other year for the special issue. And so when we, at the journal, changed the special issue process to be, okay, you need to have a large number of papers for the SLR, but you need to have some other type of study that, you know, systematic lit reviews have sort of gone beyond the who's the most, who's written the most in that topic, what universities publish the most. We've gone beyond that to how do we grow the field? What do we know now? What do we still need to investigate? And so, that started with feedback provided to doctoral scholars. And then a few months later, Steve's like, we need to make this for anybody ever submitting, not just for this event, but, we need to make this as and that's why we made the policy change last fall.
Yeah, I was pretty supportive of that when I saw that pop up. I thought that was an excellent decision. Hi everyone, Zach here again, and just a few quick reminders before you go. If you're listening to the podcast and are considering incorporating it into your secondary school or university courses, then please let me know and I can guide you through the process. If you're enjoying the show and getting some insights from it, then please leave me a 5-star review on your podcast listening platform. It would go a long way to spreading the word. If you know someone who would benefit from this content, then I would be thrilled if you could consider sharing this episode and its knowledge with them. And finally, thank you for becoming part of the community for this show.